Elevating myself and teaching through the music, so that's pretty much my whole purpose. I'm old school, so I come from that element where you teach through your music, you teach through your lyrics, you teach through your grind. So everything is like about just elevating yourself, from the branding that I have to the music to the filming. I do all of that. I film, I direct, I edit, I record. You know what I'm saying? I do the promotions for my own music. So that's everything I do is completely independent, as an independent entity. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Respect, man. Yeah, it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy.
Especially doing it yourself, it's not easy. But you do the networking thing and you try to make it easier on you. You hire your teams, but you got to make sure your team is about you. You know what I'm saying? If your team ain't about you, you shouldn't be working with them. They shouldn't be working with you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that everybody's on your side and everybody's like about you as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a entity, as a business. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Let's respect to that. That's 100%. Very true. Take every day serious wherever you're meeting people, and always take advantage of the opportunity in regards to marketing yourself and just getting to know me, introduce yourself. And you never know what that can lead to. And what, you know, one person leads to 3 people. That third person can lead to an executive that can come through and help you change your life. So, you know, you never know. Take it serious. I respect that 100%. Tell me a little bit what you're performing tonight, today at the summer of end of summer showcase for Electric Haze.
Say that one more time.
Tell me a little bit about what you're performing tonight for your end of summer showcase.
Why I'm performing, or
what you're performing. Your music.
When I'm performing, I'm probably calling on a couple after Sandro. You know, I'm performing joints like, you know, mixed joints. Some joints I dropped in 2015. One joint I'm dropping this year. I dropped this year. Promoting the album a little bit, give them a little mixture, and then promote like the purpose joint, which is the purpose of hip hop, which is what my whole thing is about, is pushing the culture of hip hop. There's a difference between hip hop music industry and then the hip hop culture. Culture is a way of life. It's how you live it. So that's why I teach in each lyric about hip hop and bringing that culture back to the forefront instead of it just being a music business. Yeah. Music business is important.
It's important, yeah.
Music industry is not necessarily important, especially after all the things that we're seeing these days with all the mainstream cats, right? But like, when you know the culture, it's you important. Know where that stands, and then you know where you stand, and then you operate based on what you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so culture is very important.
That's
important.
What it's about with the culture. I push culture. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
And culture, culture is one of those things where that's one of, like, you're one if not the most foundation of your identity. You know, coming like your culture growing up and stuff like that. I'm Spanish, I'm Puerto Rican. You know what I mean, so we have a different way of life. Coming up at the same time, we're very similar.
The culture's a way of life, just like a religion is a way of life. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at hip hop as a culture, right? You can operate the business and the industry a certain way, and you move a certain way, especially as you get older. Like, there's no such thing as aging in music. Like, you got rock and roll cats that, you know, they 70 years old and still touring. Like Iron Maiden is one of the biggest rock groups that ever came out back in the 70s, and they still got a huge fan base of just people that are older than me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So hip hop is getting to that point where you got people that are like 40, 50 years old, and they're like, yo, I want to hear that real authentic hip hop.
They want to go back in time, bro.
Yeah, they go back. So when you get a Big Daddy Kane show, you got people my age and older like, yo, I'm going to that Big Daddy Kane show. Wu-Tang and Nas, they've been, for the last couple of years, they toured together and did their thing. So it's necessary to preserve the culture and grow and not run out of things to say and not limit yourself to age.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You do this until you can't do it no more.
I think you should rap your age, man. You should rap what you're experiencing. You know,
yeah.
I don't think you should be, you know, and one like young and rap about being old when you've never experienced it. You know, but you go through that progressions of life from being young to middle age to getting to the point, third phase, fourth phase of your life. nobody's experiencing what you experience, so you should rap about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
A lot of people can relate.
I mean, that's the whole level. There's levels, you know what I'm saying? And as you get older, you reach a different level, and then the young cats come up, you know what I'm saying? So we have to change the disconnect, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not just with the OGs, but the young cats, too, got to understand where this came from, you know what I'm saying? So
100%.
in order for you to really understand what you're into and what the culture is and what it's about, we got to meet at a center point and be like, yo, this is what we do, and this is what y'all do. How are we going to make this preserve for the next 50 and some odd years? You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, like me, I try to bridge those gaps, but I try to bridge it with respect. You know what I'm saying? So when you bridge it with respect, you're like, I'm not going to judge what you do.
Yeah.
Don't judge what I do. Let's come together and build something as a
together.
unit, so y'all can take it further. Then when I go pass
The roots coming from a different path, but you're going to the same tree.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So
The only difference is I was born a different year. You know what I'm saying? So if I was born in '79, you might have been born in '99, right? But we still hip hop. You know what I'm saying? My hip hop is not better than yours. My hip hop is just older than yours. You know what I'm saying?
Hip hop is different in different ways.
It's different than yours. You know what I'm saying? But it's not better in the sense of I'm doing the same thing you did, and I had the same dream 20 years ago. You started your dream now, or you started it 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It's you know, so there's a common ground. We all was just different years. It's just like your granddad, your dad, your son.
There's a sense of reality behind that.
Yeah.
You know, somebody like me, I'm 36. You know, I'm definitely, what you're telling me is game to me. You know what I mean? Because you've been through it longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people who are younger, who are trying to come into this game, I think they should definitely take that knowledge in as much as possible, because hip hop's only 52, 51?
Huh?
Hip hop is 51, right?
Me?
Hip hop.
Well, hip hop is about to be 50. It's actually 50, but they say it's 51.
Okay, so it's 51. That's not long. It's not long.
No. Like I got my sister's 51.
Yes, you see what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Like so.
To me, 50's young.
Yeah, that's young. I mean, you don't start getting old until you're about like 60, 70. That's old. Like my mother passed away this year at 70. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't old, but she was elder. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's kind of the beginning stages of being old. 51 is young. So like when you see like Fat Man Scoop passed away at like 53, that's young. You know what I'm saying? And so like you want to see this at 90. You know what I'm saying? What is hip hop gonna sound like at 90? You know what I'm saying? What's hip hop gonna sound like at 100? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where we want to that's what we want to get. Like we want to take hip hop to that point, and then we want to also elevate it. You know, you can have the ratchet stuff here, but you know, let's get the conscious stuff over here and bring it to let's get some maturity. Like just like they got gospel music and R&B, they can meet at a medium. So hip hop can meet at this medium, because hip hop can jump into all of these different genres that we're into. That's why I say it's a culture.
That's my favorite type of hip hop. I ain't gonna lie to you. That transition between being young and being transitioning to maturing to a second phase of your life, and people rapping that experience behind it. That's my favorite part, because you know, I relate to that, but there's a different emotion. You know, it's not just the same old. You know, I mean, same old young. You know. Yeah. I don't want to de-amplify it, because I think some of the best music come from that, but the message is negative. You know, and that maturity from living that, going back to and be like, all right, now somebody got kids, and now it's a whole different perspective. Yeah. And where they sharing that story. Yeah. That's my type. That emotion.
Well, the reason why, like a lot of people, I think that the original hip hop from like the 90s into the early 2000s is always going to stand forever, because those, like, if you think about it, like when I was coming up, there was like grown men doing music, like even like let's say like rock and roll. Those dudes was like 30, 40 years old that was doing that. These guys are like 60, 70 and still doing it. Yeah. Those guys were in 20s. Like hip hop, we was fairly young. Like LL was 16 when he got on. You got Nas was like 18 when he got signed. So, and then you got these younger cats now. All of these cats now are young. They like 18, 19. Some of them are 20. So hip hop starts kind of young for us, but what happens is we kind of separate because of age, because of what the industry tells us. You know what I'm saying? it's better when you have something to say. So I like to see artists that come from, like David Banner's one of my favorite artists, right?
He's the shit.
And he came out, he was on some ratchet stuff, but then he comes out with the consciousness as he got older. So that's what I mean. Hip hop, he's hip hop because he grew as a man and started taking the responsibility for what he's coming up with. You know what I'm saying? Nas is my favorite. So Nas, he's always been my favorite. I was when Nas came out, I was in high school. So so for me, it's like to hear elevation really makes me like, you know, I love to hear like young cats too that are like nice, like young cats that actually use the traditional stuff and they can do the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch of cats out here now that can do it.
Corday's like that.
Huh?
Corday?
Yeah.
Corday's like that.
Yeah.
Taking the old stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of cats out. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the industry kind of pushes a certain sound. And I always feel like, don't try to cater to the sound, cater to who you are as an artist. You know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna make you be great. You know what I'm saying? Because everything cycles around. Everything cycles around. So it's gonna be a period where they're gonna want to hear boom bap again. Yep. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a period where they want to hear trap again.
Bro, starter jackets are coming back in style, baby.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? So
and
like,
I grew up in an era where that was gang material. You know what I'm saying? So I remember like in the 90s, you couldn't wear certain starter jackets if you was from different hoods. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, for now, we don't have that issue now. Yeah. So now starter jackets coming back. You got the cross colors coming back. You got like me, I'm a big time Nike head. You know what I'm saying? So I like Jordans and Nikes. You know what I'm saying? I like Adidas too, but I was an athlete, so I like Nikes. They was better for my feet. You know what I'm saying? So it's just all these stuffs are coming around.
Let me ask you, brother. Now that we're here in 2024, well, it's been 3 decades, right? Almost.
Say that again.
Now that it's 2024,
yep.
It's been what you said about 3 decades in this.
2020. It's me for me. It's 3 decades.
3 decades.
Yeah.
What do you see now in today's age of music? When you were coming up and trying to, find your path in the industry in music and trying to do something with it, what's the difference between now and then that you see, and what's similar between now and then? I
think now there's a lot of cats that have no fear for what they're doing, but they're not as original to themselves. They're copying somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So like back in the day, at least like, so to separate the difference, right? We sampled from older records. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about that. We're talking about like rhyme style. We had to come up with our own rhyme styles. We couldn't take somebody else's style and try to like get famous off of it because it was an issue back then. Especially if you went to New York or you was in Boston back at that time, you stole somebody's rhyme style, you might get punched in your face. You know what I'm saying? You might get hurt. So now it's people kind of follow the same trend because of who's hot. If Drake is hot, everybody wants to sound like Drake. If Wayne's hot, I remember when Wayne was the biggest artist. That everybody wants to sound like Wayne. Wayne created a whole generation of cats from 2006, 7 to about 2015. You know what I'm saying? And it's not Wayne's fault. He had his own style. It's just the other cats that's following him. That's me. To the point where Drake, when he first came out, I thought that was Lil Wayne, and then he created his own style over time. So you got to create your own style. You got to have your own style and what makes you you. Yeah. That's the difference between the 80s, the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I started in 94. You know what I'm saying? Around 94. So you couldn't come out on other people's shit, even though you liked it. Yeah. You liked it, and you started off that way, but you definitely wanted to create your own style and your own lane. You know what I'm saying? I think these artists got to create their own lane a little bit more because they are talented, but they have to have their own lane.
I agree. I think that authenticity is very real, and I think that what you're seeing as far as people riding waves or trying to sound the way they sound there, it's just another faceless person trying to sound like somebody else and not themselves.
Yeah.
So I agree 100% with that. Mm-hmm. I grew up. So I was a young bull in the 90s hip hop. You know what I mean? I remember like LL Cool J a little bit, Biggie. I got introduced, to hip hop because my uncle explained the Biggie song for me when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah,
and it changed my life. You know what I mean? I know, Juicy word for word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, those are songs were classic. You know what I mean? Like you got like my favorite song before Juicy and all of them came out. I used to love Rob Bass. It Takes Two. Joy and Pain, which he did with Frankie Beverly on the sample. Rest in peace to Frankie Beverly. I used to love like there's so many records. LL Cool J, his like my favorite album from him was Mama Said Knock You Out. Then I had EPMD, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane, Set It Off, and then in the '90s it was Wu-Tang. I'm a big time Wu-Tang fan, like big time, like especially their first album, Meth's first album. Ray has my favorite solo out of them between him and Jizza. You know what I'm saying? So those guys, they kind of shaped who I was. You know what I'm saying? I learned from the younger artists as far as how to turn this into money in a sense in this era where they got the digital. Like they know that stuff. They like when it comes to the digital stuff, they kind of know that how to make money off of that. They mastered that system because they grew up in it. As opposed to me, I come from the trunk of the car, sell your CDs, sell your merch stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's
that's the old way, but it's effective. Don't sleep on that, man.
It's still effective. Yeah.
Don't sleep on that.
Yeah, don't just
effective.
not do it. It's still effective. It's just that you got to know how to put both together. I say like QR codes are big. You know what I'm saying? When you do the QR codes, I have them on my flyers. So it's the same as selling it on the trunk of your car. It's just that you got it on the flyer. So now they can, but the difference is you get album at a time back then. Like, if my first 5 albums be on the trunk of the car, you sell that out, you got to wait for me to print up more. On the QR code, that's to the website, direct to consumer, all of my stuff is on there because it's digital. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the wave now, especially with a lot of people are taking this stuff off of Spotify, they're taking it off of Apple. And because of what's going on with the streaming, where you don't get as much money for streaming, they like direct to consumer is the best way to go. And
that Bandcamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Do digital Bandcamp. That's direct
get
to
the
consumer.
Bandcamp or do your website.
Yeah, do your own website.
Do your website.
Go to Creative Soundworks.
Yeah.
Creative Soundworks. Forget Bandcamp. Creative Soundworks. Shout out to Creative Soundworks.
Soundworks.
For having Flow Talk in the building. But you're right. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off on that. But yeah, you're right. Direct to consumer is the way to go. I think that's more effective. That's the digital way of just selling it from.
It's the same thing. It's that most people don't have CD players anymore. The only way you're gonna sell records is to DJs, right? So and I think records are a way to go too because it's vintage. Like LOG, I bought his record. I opened up for him like last year in Boston in Roxbury, and he was selling his records. I bought his record and we took a picture together and all that. Like records are still the way to go, but it's the vintage effect of let me buy this record. You know what I'm saying? But I think that you put your picture on a flyer, QR code, website link, they can get whatever they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and make sure that flyer looks up. I'm a perfectionist, and I promote as well up north in New Hampshire. So that flyer gotta look crispy before that, because for me, first impression is last impression. If that flyer is not appealing, you lost the interest. So make sure your flyer is dope at all times. Put some work behind it. Don't just half-ass those flyers, because that shit is important. The way
when you look at a flyer, it gotta have everything on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then I have the website down there. I have my name here, QR code there.
Look at that.
And then on the back, it reminds you of the album that's coming out. You see what I'm saying?
Like that. That's what you need as a flyer, because it has all the information needed for your consumer.
Yeah.
Right there. That's a lot. That right there, experience. I can't tell you how many times I try to do something and I forget to bring my business cards. Some shit. It's experience. You have everything in one, so you never forget it. So.
And these are still effective. You can put them anywhere. You come into a show, you can go to a restaurant, your favorite restaurant, you can throw a stack of them there, people gonna see it. And if they see you, they're gonna be like, yo, I seen your stuff at this restaurant. I do it all the time. So now it's all about getting it nationwide. I'm gonna be traveling and putting them everywhere. Right? Posters too. Right?
Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for what you're doing for the culture. 3 decades is no joke. Thank you for what you're doing in the culture. 3 decades is no joke.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, a lot of sadness, a lot of angry frustrations, and you live and learn it through that time. So I appreciate you never ever giving up hip hop and now giving game to people like me and people who are younger that are trying to come up and showing that experience. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me.
This is Flow Talk. My man here.
Peace.
African man born, right?
Yes.
Get your flyers, your tapes, direct to consumers. Shout out to him. Follow him. Can you tell them where they can find you?
So you can get the flyers at any restaurant in Dorchester, Mattapan, Flames, Only One. You can go into the Island Restaurant on Erie Street in Dorchester. You can also hit me up on AfricanBandborn.com, and I can give you anything that you need as far as merch. You can see my merch on there, the hats to the clothes. You can see the flyers just about in essential body herbs. I'm gonna be putting posters up all over the place. I'm gonna be talking it. So I'm always moving. I'm saying this right now, and next week I have posters in other places. So I'm gonna be all over the place, and I'm traveling outside. So if you're in New York, if you're in New Jersey, even all the way to Arizona, I'm gonna be having all types of stuff there, so you can get to my music.
Yo, fire. Shout out to you. Flow Talk, Creative Soundworks, Electric Haze. Shout out to y'all. Shout out. I can't wait to see you perform, man.
Yes, sir.
Follow his music, buy his music, follow his page, support the movement. This man's been doing it for a long time, and he still loves it, and he's doing it for y'all. So support. It's your boy Gordy.